9:37. You're watching and listening to Breakfast with Stephen and Anne. Time to go through the papers. Broadcaster Claire Muldoon is here, but sadly, I've lost a tiny bit of respect for former head of counter-terrorism at the MOD, Major General Chip Chapman.
Why?
He's just told me he's never seen a Star Wars film. Never seen a Star Wars
Just
film.
think there is that entire catalogue of movies for you to watch.
Just waiting for you.
Yeah,
You'll love it.
yeah, before I die.
This Christmas.
Yeah.
It's bound to be on somewhere this Christmas.
It's good for the soul.
1977, that first one came out, episode 4, and it hasn't aged. It's brilliant.
Nor has Harrison Ford, to be fair.
Oh, he has. Just a
not-
tad.
not
He's
that
brilliant,
bad.
though. He is. I love Harrison Ford.
Gorgeous.
Oh, no, that's definitely one.
Thank you, Stephen.
And then we'll get you onto Star Trek.
I do watch that.
You're redeemed.
Oh, there you go. Yes, semi-redeemed, anyway. Anyway, look to serious matters, Chip. Looking at the Sunday Telegraph, looking at Remembrance Sunday, which is today, of course.
Yes, it is Remembrance Sunday, so page 9 of the Telegraph headline about last night's Festival of Remembrance performance. Pride, sorrow and dignity come to the fore in poignant performances, and a really, really good first paragraph. At a time when the shallowness, vanity and sheer indignity of public life is enough to make one fear for the nation's future, we need a collective ceremony to remind us that this country is more than its politicians and its hucksters, and that out there, beyond the media glare, the quiet but essential virtues of service and loyalty are still alive and well. And that's what it's all about. And there are people who say that it glorifies war. It doesn't. And people like me would quote Herodotus, a 5th century BC ancient Greek philosopher, which is that no one prefers war to peace, because in peace, children bury their fathers, and in war, fathers bury their children.
Oh, yes.
And in total war, which the Second World War was, you also bury your mothers, as my father did, because my grandmother was killed in a Luftwaffe bombing raid in January 41 in the Plymouth Blitz, when a collective air raid shelter was hit and 75 were killed. My father was left an orphan by war.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
But it is, I don't understand people who think it's about glorifying war. It's not, it's about glorifying peace.
And really, when it says about the hucksters and politicians, it's also worth noting, as one of the things I look at is, I look at politicians in 4 ways. That is, the first way, are they looking at self-interest? The second way, are they looking at their constituency interest? The third one, are they looking at just party interest? Or lastly, are they looking at national interest? And too many of them at the moment have been looking at their self-interest and party interest and not national interest and constituency interest.
That's definitely true. And also on that, we discussed earlier the fact that the front pages had got nothing at all about Remembrance Sunday in them. You have to delve into the inner, the inside pages. And pride, sorrow, dignity, these beautiful words that, are synonymous with peacetime and with remembrance. Well, how prolific is that for today in the Ukraine war, when we've got the pictures from, I think it's the Telegraph, of the girls together wrapped with their flag, that element of hope. And indeed, the whole of the Ukrainians have got, with their pride, their sorrow and their dignity. If anything else, Remembrance Sunday today for our current climate, our current society, can be linked directly to the Ukraine.
I am very surprised that the newspapers haven't splashed it all over their front pages.
I thought they would have done more stuff from last night. Actually, Did you watch it last night? Was it on a bit too late?
I had to go to bed fairly early to be here early this morning.
It was remarkable. Actually, the whole thing was just beautiful. Even and the service at the end with the Bishop of London and things. It was just.
Is there not, though, the danger of desensitisation that we were talking about earlier about the Ukraine war and the way we feel about it? Is there a danger that we will not be able to have the pomp and ceremony going forward with the personnel who have given their lives for us to live democratically?
What do you mean, Luton?
Well, we've got these beautiful, lovely colours of all the different regiments, of all the different uniforms. And, last night's spectacular spectacle, really, at the Royal Albert Hall. Is there a danger that as the population of the ex-infantry and soldiers and servicemen and women getting older, the byproduct of that, of course, is death. So what will they be able to do?
Well, I don't know. I think it's the current...
The scale will change because, of course, the First and Second World War, were mass industrial
Yes.
wars. And the reality for the British Army or armed forces since World War II is we've only, say only, which is a terrible word, had 7,500 killed in action since 1945, which is an absolutely good thing. So for the last 77 years, we've lost 7,500 people. We lost 250,000 military in the Second World War, 750,000 in the First World War. But the memorialisation of this is evident for everyone to see all around the country, because there are only 14 places in England and Wales that don't have a war memorial. So these were community tragedies in the First and Second World War, as well as large-scale national tragedies. And for example, to give you an illustration of that, I was walking in a village near me, Purse Cornwall, wonderful name of village in Somerset. Population in World War I, 170. Half of those were probably blokes. 85, probably 40 of military age. 4 killed in action in a village. That is a community tragedy. And it is in those communities that we should remember it. Of course, we've sort of got into a more urban context these days, and we can forget that. But those villages dotted all around, that's to be seen everywhere. And it's worth remembering, of course, that prior to 1921, Ireland as an island also had no hamlet, village, city that didn't lose someone. So there was mass slaughter for the population of all of Ireland, not just Northern Ireland.
But we don't just need that to remember, do we? We have a media nowadays who can play their part in this.
Yeah, but look, the media.
I know. I am very shocked about
Yeah.
the newspapers, but we, for instance, we've been talking about it all morning.
Yeah.
We have been for the last couple of days, and people have been emailing in with their wonderful stories, and that's how we remember. We may not have been affected ourselves by war, but we know and we interview and we watch people who have been. So I think we all play our part in keeping this going, don't we? It's very important.
I don't think.
But you said that last night at the service there was a family of children came from
From the Falklands. And I thought that was a very interesting point, because there are people, there was a lady who stood up very powerfully and read out a statement, but it was a letter from her father, and it was the last letter he wrote to her, and then he didn't come back from the Falklands. And that was very moving, actually. But then after that, there was a group of about 12 teenagers, kids really, from the Falklands who'd been flown in, and one of them, the eldest, I guess, spoke to say, we thank you for what you did and for securing our future. And it was he spoke very well, this young man, but it was very powerful.
Yeah, and I tweeted something this morning that...
I was going to say, Robert Fox, legendary war reporter Robert Fox was in here yesterday. And he started blubbing as well when asked who he remembers on Remembrance Sunday. So we just have to play our part, don't we?
And I was with Robert at Goose Green in 1982.
Gosh, yes, you would have been.
And
yes.
I tweeted something this morning, which was the mission of 2-Para was to capture Darwin and Goose Green. The mission was achieved, but 18 people still hold that ground today, when they're the ones I will remember today.
Yeah. Oh dear. Joan, just to bring this in at this point, Joan says, my mother's cousin, Charles Johnson, was a Royal Marine who was 2 months short of his 20th birthday when he was killed during the D-Day landings in 1944. He's buried at the Portsmouth Naval Memorial Cemetery in Hampshire.
Yes. Not everybody came home to be buried either, did they?
No.
Carol from Poole says, my uncle, Albert Vincent Loftus, what a wonderful name, was only 19 years old when he was ambushed with others from his battalion. His mother never knew where he was buried. 1 year after her death, we found Albert and visited his grave in Belgium. Our grandson has his name now. We will never forget him. We're all going here, aren't we?
But it's important. I think it's important to have some emotion through all of this.
Yes.
Anyway, let's move on to the Sunday Express. Mary Portas.
Oh,
Mary
where's
Portas.
she been for a long time?
Well, we spoke about urbanisation, and we used the term urban a few minutes ago. So basically, Mary Portas has now said, act now or half shops will shut. And what she means is the independence that, saw everyone through COVID, actually, and really helped people through COVID. The problem is the death of the high street.
Yeah.
The model of buying clothes, buying shopping, buying anything, groceries, has changed.
Yes.
Not only because of the pandemic, but the shift from companies like Amazon,
It's evolved.
where we
And
can
we've got to
get
evolve with it.
anything when we want it. You know, it's that instant.
Pandemic
shop.
accelerated that, though.
It did
Oh,
indeed.
yeah.
It did indeed. And of course, we weren't allowed to go out anywhere, so you couldn't walk into a shop, and face masks and all the social distancing and things. Now, we're not talking about the major grocery stores or the major shops here. We're actually talking about the independents. And I'm a firm believer in independence, and I think we all should shop independently where we can, because it's the backbone. Small businesses, small and medium-sized businesses, are the backbone of the British economy.
But they've got to evolve.
Yes, Steve.
They've got to, and I'll tell you for why. I bought something. I won't tell you what it was. Which you can buy anywhere, and I ended up buying it from a small shop, a tiny local shop in somewhere like Blackburn or something, because they came up on a Google search and had it at the best price.
Right.
It was a piece of clothing. Bought it from them. Now that's how they've got to evolve. They've got to evolve by getting online, doing the good deals.
Can I also say local councils have got to improve parking, because the way if you want to pop into your local shop or pop along to the high street
There is no parking.
there is no way you can ever park.
There's plenty of cycle lanes.
You're penalised if you want to park it.
And
There are no
stationary
car
traffic.
parks. They sell their local car parks to build high-rise flats and all the rest of it. I know all these things are necessary, but it's up to councils to make it easy to park.
I'm with you,
my say.
but also there's no this hasn't changed in 10 years when she was the czar for David Cameron.
Yeah. Mind you, I interviewed her once and she was less than impressive.
Really?
And that's stuck with me actually. It was down the line, but she had nothing to say. I was very, very disappointed. So I don't hold a lot of faith. Claire Muldoon, Major General Chip Chapman, there we must leave it. But thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
you
for
very
being
much.
Yeah, and helping us remember in the way that we all think we should remember.
Yes.